Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Punt Intended podcast, a sports ethos production and a fantasy basketball dynasty podcast presented by Banchero. On today's episode, we bring on special guest, the legend himself, Rick Kamla, to discuss how he approached the recent dynasty startup mock drafts we hosted here at Sports Ethos. Did he decide to reach on some youth, or did Kamla decide, I'm going to go all in and win now, like he tends to do? We'll find out here in just a few moments. First, a little bit of housekeeping. You can follow me at Blue Sky at MarkC Sports Ethos and on Twitter at MacAttack145. You can find my Dynasty writings and rankings over at sportsethos.com. My latest writing is my 2025 offseason buy and sells review. So if you want to get a leg up on your league, get in before some players' values rise or get off of some players before their value falls, make sure to go check that out. About a week or so, we'll have my write-up of this mock draft on there. You get access to all this great content and more with that NBA Fantasy Pass. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and bring on Kamla. Cam, how you doing?
Mark, what's up, man? Good to be on with you. Dynasty basketball, probably one of my top 5 favorite topics on earth. I can tell you that.
Top 5? It's not your number one?
Oh man, it's up there. It's up there. You know, I'm a single dude, so there may be other things a little bit more exciting than that. But it's high on the list.
With that context, I will take it's up there. Up there is still a good qualifier.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into this mock draft here. So I'll go ahead and share this. Just to recap the settings, this is a 12-team, 18-round dynasty mock draft. You have 10 starters, about 6 bench, and then 2 IR, 2 minor league. So if you want to stash your prospects or younger players, you can do that. So as a 12-team, this is 12-team. And Cam, you had the honor of picking 12th. And so before we get even into the draft, do you have any approach drafting at the back end of a dynasty startup? Does that tend to make you lean one way or the other, or you just still let the draft fall to you how it falls to you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of set up a template for myself, and I do preach it to others. Like, and especially this is a startup, right? And then, the established dynasty leagues, it's basically just a rookie draft. Maybe you sprinkle in your vets, but it's so unique to have a startup dynasty draft in any sport. They're my favorite drafts of all. And I really enjoyed this mock right here. So my strategy, Mark, is to go young, and then old, and then it's just the best pick. Right? Like what makes the most sense, taking everything into account. I want to win now. I need goodies. But I also, in a dynasty, always, obviously every single decision you make has age attached to it. Every single decision you make. And so that's involved in all of these, except for picks 3 and 4, because I want 2 nasty young dudes. And then I want to just like maximize the stats. And whether it's a Harden, a Curry, a LeBron, a Durant, because these guys always fall in startup dynasty drafts. So that's the methodology. It's worked, Mark, in the Cam dynasty. I'm riding back-to-back chips into this season. Andre Lemouche now is in this league. Aaron Bruschi now is in this league. And so, it's going to be harder this year, but hopefully I can, go Kobe and Shaq, go Jordan Pippen and get the 3-peat here. But this method's really worked for me, Mark. And if you want to win now in dynasty leagues, okay, and about half the league usually makes the decision not to, and about half the league wants to. If you want to go for it, the only way you're going to compete and win is to have a blend of young and old. You can't go all young and then say, oh, but I still want to compete for a championship. It's not going to work because these players are not seasoned, polished, complete, bodies of work yet. Like a Christian Brown in Denver, right? Like, who is he going to become, right? So if you have a bunch of guys like him and they're stuck at 15, 6 and 2 with whatever, you're not going to win. You got to get guys like Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker. You got to go get some big boys. So that's the thought process.
definitely share that philosophy. I'll see some teams in leagues just go all youth. And I get it. It's like the ultimate dynasty manager's dream that every prospect you pick is going to peak early, or not even peak early, just you get that production early on. You'll get this squadron of 24 and 25-year-olds that's powering your team to the championship, I guess OKC style. But that's just, okay, yes, it theoretically could happen. The odds of that happening are just very low. And even if you are the best draft evaluator or best prospect evaluator, you still need a lot to go right if you're building a squad of prospects and hoping they all hit their peak. I did an article the past 2 seasons looking at first round draft picks, seeing what they produce in their peaks and when that peaks are. It's not as good of a hit rate as you probably think it is. So I share that philosophy. I share, don't just ignore like 26-year-olds because they're 26. Like, that's still good value. That's still plenty fine. And I think that will lead us now into your first 2 picks, where, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like you're preaching, I want to get guys who are entering their fantasy primes and they can be pillars for my team for the seasons going forward. And with that, you selected Trae Young and then Paolo Banchero. So is this just basically, you said, hey, these are 2 guys in that age range, and cool, I'm just going to get them to my squad and set up that base going forward?
Yes. However, going 12th sucks. I mean, Mark, what can I say? I mean, it sucks, especially in a startup dynasty. I want to draft last in a normal fantasy basketball dynasty league, because that means I just won the league. Okay, I'm fine with that. And usually I trade my first round pick anyway in a bundle move. I sort of groom a couple of young studs off the waiver wire, get them to a sellable point, package them with maybe a more solid guy and a future first round pick, and I go big game hunting. I've done this for Jamal Murray, Jalen Green, Donovan Mitchell, and it's transformed my club and it really helped me win these back-to-back chips. So I don't care about draft picks, but going last sucked. I mean, it did. Would have loved to get Cade Cunningham, would have taken Cooper Flagg there, would have taken Ant-Man, J-Dub, probably wouldn't have taken Giannis. Mobley, who I definitely would have taken, was picked right before. Got sniped on him. Chet Holmgren, would I have taken him? I don't know. But, like the guys that we all really want for a startup dynasty league were gone. And I love Banchero. And so I'll get to that decision in a minute. But Trae Young is 27. All right. He's still probably got a decade left, at least 8 to 10 years. Mark, you probably agree with this. You made Trae Young is not a future Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great. He's going to be he'll be top 5 in dimes. I believe by the time his career is over, probably be top 5 in 3 balls made as well. He's just good. He's in the middle of an all-time great career. And he's 27. So he's at his prime. He's a walk-in 25 and 12. He's got the steals up around 1.2, 1.3. The 3 balls are right around 3. And so he's just a magnificent fantasy player. And really gets you off to a great start in the 3-ball assist. And I think steal categories, obviously in the first, you got to get 25 PPG in the first round. Like, that's just chalky. I'm getting up on people. You're not getting up on any, you got to get 25 PPG in the first round. But the other goodies, wasn't really wanting some Trae Young, Mark, to be honest with you. Like, I love him and all that kind of stuff. But if I would have been at 8 or 9, I would not have drafted Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 12 in a dynasty startup as of today is a really awkward spot because you miss out on, I mean, obviously you have your top, I would say 4 in Wembanyama, Shea, Jokic, Doncic, and you can have that next set of maybe 4 to 5. I put Cooper Flagg there personally. You have Anthony Edwards, Shaq, maybe some others. And then it's then you start getting to, it feels weird to call players in this 9, 10, 11 range as question marks, but it is question marks, where they're not these all around, even studs or the similarly studs. They do still have their warts, but they have obviously their strengths, as you outlined with Trae Young, who I am also a massive fan of. And it feels weird to say that I'm a fanboy of Trae Young, because I feel like he's just more disrespected and we're on the realistic side of things. But no, I mean, he is. He's 25 and 10, great passing. Yes, the efficiency needs isn't the greatest, but also you don't get a passer like him that easily. So, yeah, I mean, but with that being said, picking at the end of the round, I think that's pretty much as good as you're going to get here in that 12th range.
So then, Mark, really tough decision. Scotty Barnes was in the mix here. It really condensed to Amen Thompson or Paolo Banchero. I'm a huge Paolo Banchero. And again, I say fan. I don't have his jersey. Like, it's not like that. Like, I love the basketball player that he is. I love how serious he is, how competitive he is. He's got a drive to be great. And not a lot of guys do. When you're Paolo, I mean, first overall pick, max guy, like you don't have to like really want to be great and win a championship. You're good, bro. You could play the Zion card on us, okay? But he's not that guy. He's not wired that way. He's a badass. So it was a tough call. I think Amen Thompson is a little bit, and I want to stress those two words, overrated. The PRA is probably going to be like 16, 8, and 5, which is really good. The defense might be 1.5. It wasn't last year. The 3-ball game is going to be super minimal. And so
just watch what you say. I'm a Rockets fan right here. So
yeah, and I mean, we're all Amen fans. I mean, I love the Rockets. Last year they were last year they were my little team that could. But and look, I love Amen Thompson. But talking with Dr. A and and Andre, like these guys, like I think the stats just aren't backing up all the love and enthusiasm. And again, it's not like a big miss. To me, it's like a slight miss, okay? It's that foul tick from a baseball swing when it goes right to the back. And that means he just missed it, right? It's one of those deals. But I think Paolo Banchero is going to enter the fringe, Mark, of the MVP conversation this year, even with the addition of Bane. And I'd like your take on this. What I have found, Mark, number one options don't suffer. They don't. They're the guy. They always eat. They do whatever they want. They're the guy. Franz Wagner is going to have to me, sacrifice for Bane. Suggs is going to have to sacrifice for Bane. I don't believe Paolo is. So I think we're talking about a guy that's got 26, 8, 6 potential with the PRA. We'd all like to see more defense from him. I think it was about 1.5 when you combine the two. Maybe we can get that to 1.9 or 2. The 3-ball game should continue to expand, Mark, as he gets better as a player, more efficient. I mean, everybody works on the 3 all the time. So I presume that will continue to uptick a little bit. So that was the decision, but it was tough, dude, to pass on Amen Thompson. And I knew he would be the next pick, and he was.
The fact that Amen Thompson went right after Paolo Banchero, Amen Thompson going at 14, Paolo Banchero going on 13, kind of says that, hey, if you're deciding between those two guys, you probably made not a good decision, but those are the right two guys to consider there.
Right.
It's always a little like, oh, okay, cool. I was debating between these two players. I picked player 1, player 2 goes right after. Cool. I was thinking about it right.
Yep. It also makes me think, though, did I pick the right guy? Right? Because, man, the next pick is the guy you were thinking of. So it gives you a little bit of, what would you call it? Buyer beware or something?
Yeah, buyer's remorse, pick for more.
Buyer's remorse. Yeah.
Drafter's remorse.
Exactly.
Back to what you brought up with Paolo and being the number one option. I do agree. Like, it's normally the number one option who will feast, and then the other players who suffer. And I mean, I wrote about that a little bit with Jalen Suggs in my buy sells, that Suggs is a sell for me because, yeah, he got his assist rose up last year, but hey, I mean, that's because Banchero and Wagner were out a lot of the year, and Bane is a lot better on ball than Jalen Suggs.
Completely agree with that. I love Jalen Suggs in reality. I do have his jersey. I am fanboy for Jalen Suggs. Legit. It's not a joke. But I'm not on him this year. The injury thing, Mark, obviously, but I think he's going to go. He was about 16, 4, and 6 last year, like a really nice PRA. That ain't happening this year. He's going to go back to just being a defensive dog. He'll catch and shoot. He'll initiate some offense a little bit, but I think his offensive role is gonna flatten in his defensive role, because I mean, he's the defensive tone setter for them. They don't need as much offense from him, so I think there's going to be a pendulum swing for Jalen Suggs.
Agreed. And then with Paolo being that number one, my only question with Paolo is if he's good enough to have that number one option level usage. I think he still has a ways to go to improve, which he could improve. He's still very young. But in my head, I'm like, if I was, doing sliders on shots per game and usage and reps, I would probably slide Paolo and Wagner down, slide Baines up a little bit. But then what's also going against that is that the Magic pretty much gave him the 25% plus the not supermax language, the 30% max language. And with like third team All NBA, if he makes third team All NBA, he gets the 30% max, basically all the bells and whistles. So the Magic clearly view Paolo Banchero as their guy, their dude. And so even if I don't think Paolo should get this much usage, he probably will because the Magic view him as that, which means all those goodies will follow. And that's always something I struggle with sometimes is here's my reading of the player, but if the team doesn't agree, then it doesn't matter. The player is going to get his stats, and that's that, and that's good for fantasy. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
No, just a quick tag on that. Like Paulo is still a work in progress, right? But to me, that's exciting about him. Where is he going to take this? Anthony Edwards is not a complete body of work yet. That painting hasn't been completely fully stroked yet. Where's he? So I love that upside with Paolo Banchero. But what Orlando has done, and Mark, you know this, they just invested in a stud, right? And it's kind of like Trevor Lawrence in the NFL, right? And he has not been good. Okay, he's been a huge disappointment. But you know what? Jacksonville was like, F it. He's the guy. We're pouring buckets into this guy, pouring love and training and everything. And hopefully one day he pops. So Paulo's further up the ladder than Trevor. But it's just you got your horse and you're heavily invested in him and you're just going with that. So that's what Orlando's doing with Paolo, and that's going to ensure a ton of shots.
That's actually a really good cross-sport reference there. Because I'm definitely with someone in a Dynasty league. I had Trevor Lawrence a couple seasons ago, and I traded off of him because I'm like, this guy isn't looking like the number one pick hype monster that he was supposed to be, and he still hasn't lived up to that. And they're basically the Jaguars are building around him as if he is their guy. And I'm like, okay, but what if he's not? And then now it's not going to look good. But
I love hype monster. I love hype monster.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's a very good cross-sport comparison. For those of you listening, if you played both Dynasty football, Dynasty basketball, you definitely understood that. If not, just know it was a very good comparison.
Appreciate that, man.
All right, let's move now to the round 3 and round 4. So again, you can we're sharing the screen and draft on YouTube here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure, go ahead and hit that like button. Just takes, 2 taps? You tap the screen, tap the like button, done. Easy. If you're on audio, hey, that's great too. Just make sure you leave a rating, subscribe to the podcast. That sort of stuff really does help the growth. But as I said, we're moving to round 3 and 4, where you went with these older but very productive guys, and James Harden at 36 and Kevin Durant at 37. Were these just the highest rated, basically, I guess, older veterans that you had left on the board?
They were the 2 highest players I had on my top 135, whatever. I'm on my way to a top 150. I'm almost there, but pardon me. They were the highest ranked guys. I passed on Steph Curry. I have Harden ahead of Curry, and that it would be in a redraft and in a dynasty. Harden's a little bit younger. I like Harden's stat line more than Curry. And Mark, if this hasn't come up, I'll just tell you, because Doc knows this, Brew knows this. I do not care about percentages. Do not care at all, a single bit, not even one little bit. The only time I will ever make a decision based on percentages is if I'm in a playoff head-to-head matchup and we get to about Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some of the categories look pretty cooked. And field goal percentage is like right there, right? And it's like a 5-4-1 or what. Then I will sweat field goal percentage, but not until that point.
You drafted Paolo Banchero, so clearly percentages aren't at the forefront.
And Trae Young.
Yeah, well, yes, Trae Young might
right
the better field goal percentage poster child there. Yep,
exactly. And what I have, and then James Harden he's got 45% potential. He's also got 41.5% potential. And again, I don't care. I want the goodies. I want to be a savage in PRA. I want the block, steals, and threes, the Wemby meter, the fantasy gold. And I found, Mark, and I'm going to do a study this year. I have not done this. This is more of just sort of like thumbing it. And I've been doing this, how long? 30, 40 years, whatever. That I have a feeling that me literally not caring about percentages, I think it might come down to like 50-50 because I win those categories anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but not all the time. It's hit and miss with those categories. Same thing with ERA and WHIP in fantasy baseball. I'm a volume guy. I want tons of pitchers. I don't care if you're dirty. I want the 5Ks and maybe the win. But I've found that I still win ERA some weeks, even doing that. Just the ebb and the flow of that whole thing. So Harden,
Small sample size theater.
exactly. So James Harden, man, we're talking, I don't know, 22, 5 or 6 rebounds, 10 assists. The 3-ball count is high. He was at 1.5 steals, 0.7 blocks. I just love the stat line. Same role. Nothing has changed. I'm really excited about Harden. I'm in the regular season. In the postseason, he's the greatest fade of all time because he's the biggest choke artist of all time. But that doesn't matter here. And Harden is showing no signs of like slowing down in a stat dip. And then Kevin Durant, tough decision between him and LeBron James. But I have I've got a little bit more of a tickle about Kevin Durant this year. I think the change of scenery to Houston, playing with all the young guys, going for a championship is really going to rejuvenate him and fire him up. And he may even play through injury more often than he would in a different scenario. Love LeBron James this year too. I do. I think it's an FU season to the Lakers for all of the, not telling him about the ownership change. Oh, it's Luka's team now. Oh, I see you. He's probably kind of pissed off and got a chip on his shoulder, but I think there might be a little bit bigger chip on Kevin Durant's shoulder. So that was the thought process between those two picks.
You hurt me with the Harden choking comments, but you rebounded it. You recovered slightly with the Durant pushing this year. And
I love it, man. I'm not wrong though about Harden. I'm not wrong.
Okay, we'll go on a side tangent. We'll go on this road quickly. I think the only series where Harden was truly choking and bad was the Spurs. I think it was the 2015-2016 one when they lost when I think Kawhi was down. They were getting old, and then they lost in that game 7. Harden was horrible, and he's at the strip club after. That was the one where it was truly choking. The Warriors, I mean, it's hard to say that's choking at all when you're facing those Warriors teams. Some of the Clippers in the later season said he's on a superstar. He was the top 20, 30 player, and those players ebb and flow a little bit in the playoffs, and that's fine. I think some of the choking talk's a little overblown, and yeah, it's unfortunate that we went against the Durant Warriors, and I think this adds fuel to that narrative. This is my personal rant, so.
No, I hear you, man. You guys did miss like 27 straight threes or something like that in that game, and that's as choky as it gets. But
that is what small sample size can do to you, and sometimes you hit a lot in a row. So yes, yes. Oh, 0-27 does always sting a little bit. You're okay. Let's move on now. I do want to talk about Durant a little bit. And I think you brought up a good point on Houston. Yeah, I mean, he should be motivated to play. This is the first contending team he's been on for the last 3-4 seasons since that Nets-Bucks series in 22, I believe it was. And yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to get hit. He's Kevin Durant. He is one of, if not the best mid-range sniper of all time. And as someone who, I won't say labored through, but watched a lot of Jalen Green struggle on these isolation mid-range shots, Durant is going to absorb all of those shots. He's going to absorb all of those shots. There's really no one else to take that. There is plenty of shots for Durant here. Yes, even with Alperen Sengun, Van Vliet, and maybe others to emerge, it's fine because it's Kevin Durant. He is going to get his. The Rockets need this skill set desperately. I'm not worried about his usage declining or anything like that. He should still be locked in I would assume, he should be pretty much top 12 redrafts. I would think definitely this season, probably next season too, bearing injury or anything else. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to get great production from him. Let's move now to round 5 and round 6 here. And we'll start with round 6, where you picked LeBron at 61. So you managed to get the player that you were talking about earlier a little bit later. And then the pick before that, at pick 60, you snagged Donovan Clingan. So a bit of mix of old and young here. Talk me through your thought process with these.
Yeah, again, so like we talked about, it's young or young mid, right? Trae Young's a mid guy. Paolo's a young guy. So it's young or young mid or mid, and then I'm literally looking to go just maximize stats, and I'll go age high for that. And then so I was super excited to see Donovan Clingan still available. Zubats went the pick before Siakam, Duran. That was kind of a sexy round, by the way. And so I'm super high on Donovan Clingan. I see a double-double. I see Walker Kessler 2.0 is what I frankly see. I see, the 13 and 11.5 or whatever that looks like, a robust double-double, with 2.1, 2.2, maybe 2.5. I don't know if we can get that high. Might be biting off more than I can chew, but this kid, obviously a monster in college. He's shown signs of being a monster in the NBA, and needs to be fully green lit. That's the only, that's kind of why he's in mid-round or sleeper zone, right? Because is Chauncey going to play him 30 minutes a game? He's got other options at the position, but he's, a young cat, super talented, and I'm a big fan. So that did not take any time at all to make that pick. I was like, yeah, Clingan's available, bang. And then I was already thinking about LeBron when I made the Durant pick. So I'm like, these knuckleheads just literally gave me LeBron James with the first pick in the 6th round. Are you kidding me? And I'm just messing around with you guys here, but this is my formula, right? From that point in the draft on, you're just mixing young, old, always with the thought process of we got to win now.
Yeah, and I think LeBron James is a good microcosm of the concept you brought up at the beginning, which is, as you go through your draft, there are so many different factors you can look at when making these picks. And yeah, so probably a lot of people would say LeBron James at 61, that's way too early for, 41 now, for a 41-year-old. But we kind of talked about this with Zach of Diddle's Dynasty a few pods ago, where if you place different emphasis on factors such as production now and wanting that peak production primarily, LeBron James is undeniably still a very appealing fantasy player, even in Dynasty. I mean, you agree with, like, he's going to play probably at least 2 more seasons, right? I would think 2 more.
It's great. So I think he's going to play 2 more seasons. I would not put at least 2 more. What I think he's going to do, I think the Lakers pissed him off, Mark. I really, really do. And there's been reporting, that this is LeBron's last year, last year of his deal, and they're going to let him move on. And LeBron's a warrior, and he does, he loves LA, and there's, like, I'm sure loves a lot of his teammates, most of them, all of them, I don't know. And so he's locked in. He's not going to have it like a half in, half out mentality. No, he's going to go for it. He wants ring number 5. And so this will be his last year in LA. Then I think he's going to have a spite season, probably with the Golden State Warriors. I don't know how they make that money work. Maybe he just takes the veteran minimum, but LeBron never gives anything away, so I don't really see that. Not sure how that all that works, but he's boys with Steph, boys with Draymond, and that'd be kind of dope if him and Curry both went for ring number 5 together. Pardon me. So that's kind of how I see it, but I agree with you. When I took LeBron James in the startup draft of the Cam Dynasty, Mark, that was 3 years ago. I did not win the first chip, and then I've gone bang, bang. So we're entering year 4. There was talk about LeBron James retiring back then. I think I got him on the 3rd round, 4th round swing. I also had the last pick in that draft, Mark, which sucked. Because that one was for real, and we've been playing this league out, right? But on the 3rd round to 4th round swing, I took Harden and I took LeBron.
How many teams are there, just so we can give a reference of draft picks?
14.
14. Okay, so that would be pick, 60, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. But I was like, yes. And we was super excited to get LeBron James. And Mark, at the time, that might have been his last year. But I'm like, you know what I said? I said, even if LeBron James plays just this year and retires, I want to have him till the end of this thing. Like, I want him to retire the property. I shouldn't say it that way, but
Yeah.
under the management of Rick Kamla. You know what I'm saying? So that's really really worked out for me. By the way, Mark, and I'm done with this thing right after this. First year LeBron blows a tire. Remember, he had the groin injury, just a million games, and so I didn't have him for the playoff run. Okay, the last 2 years I've had LeBron for the playoff run. I've won both of those, and then I didn't win when I didn't have LeBron. So he's obviously been a very integral guy to what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has put up great production. I mean, we can look at the stats right here. I mean, just look at the points, rebounds, assists. I mean, 29, 26, 24 and a half points the past 3 seasons, around 8 boards, 8 assists, a few steals, a few blocks, pretty good efficiency, some threes. I mean, this is still amazing production. And yeah, I mean, sure, he's up there in age. He may be treated as he could just poof from fantasy value the next season or two if he retires. But I mean, he's getting a greatly productive player in that time. And I think you have to keep in mind, it's not like, oh, this player's not going to have any value year 2, year 3, year 4, whatever. Okay, yeah, but you got that value, huge peak value, and you can find, LeBron James replacement, but you can find replacements and trust your drafting, trust your scouting, trust your trading to help build back that value in other ways. And then touching on, go ahead.
No. I got another.
Okay. And then touching on Klingon, I mean, he has the opportunity. He just needs to go and take it. And whether that's proving the Billups that he can play more, whether that's a stamina issue, whether that's making sure his offense's level is good enough, just finishing, making sure he can finish dunks and lobs well enough, he has the clear opportunity, even though they took Jan Hodson at 16. They took Klingon higher. Granted, I would say a weaker draft class, but they still have a good amount invested in Klingon. And there's opportunity for him to just take the starting role and run away with it. He just has to be good enough. And maybe that sounds really simple, but hey, if he's good enough, then he'll play it to be productive. And if he's not good enough, he wouldn't have gotten minutes or starter level minutes anyway. So he has the opportunity, he has the talent, he just needs to demonstrate it.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with blocks. They're the rarest category in fantasy ball, and he has a chance to really be elite at that. So back to your Rockets, Mark. I took Van Vliet and then DeJounte Murray in the round 7, round 8 turnaround there. The Van Vliet pick, I'm very high on Van Vliet this year. I've got him ranked healthily in my top 50. I will not have to draft him, Mark, as such, because everybody hates Fred Van Vliet, and he will fall into the 70s and 80s. But I may get cute in drafts and like fade him around like past where I would take him because nobody likes this guy anymore. I may get cute with that and try to play a little game, and I may just say no. Like in this league, I didn't really play a game. I just said I love the package of assists, steals, and 3 balls from Fred Van Vliet. I freaking love it. He was atrocious last year, but still banged 2.7 3 balls and had 1.6 threes. I may be off with the tenths with that, but I'm real close. It was a very, very healthy 3 ball and a very healthy steal number, even last year when obviously he could not make a shot. I think Van Vliet with Durant there, with Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks out, I think the pendulum's going to swing to FVV for about 2 more shots per game, Mark. I think usage rate's going to go up a little bit. And I just think Fred's going to play better. He sucked last year. The whole world knows it, and he's a good player. And so good players usually don't go out like that. I think there's a nice bounce back factor here with him. So that was the thought process going into Van Vliet. Do you share my enthusiasm for FVV this year?
So Fred Van Vliet taking 84th here. Somewhat, I do think he can shoot better. I think we'll have Durant. He will obviously be more threatening to opposing defenses and draw more attention than Jalen Green did, which should open up his shooting and avenues to scoring a little bit more. My main worry, though, is more the assist drop-off. We saw him average 8.1 assists his first season with Houston, and that dropped down to 5.5 last season. And, I mean, really, as a Rockets fan and as a Dynasty analyst, I looked at that. I'm like, what? what really changed on the team? And the answer is it wasn't really a heck of a lot in terms of structurally. And Vliet was still kind of initiating a lot of the actions. Yes, there was some more low post action with Şengün, but it wasn't really a huge volume more. Jalen Green was pretty much just as involved as before. And so I'm wondering if his just passing ability, his ability to create advantages has gone down to a point where we aren't going to see elite assists. I think it would be hard for them to not bounce back up some. But if it doesn't, if it stays more at like 6, then getting like 6.5 or 7 or 8, that's a different tier of assist in my head. So
Yeah,
even if the shooting bounces back, I'm worried about the assists staying a little lower, which does meter his value.
it's a great point. He's not going to spike in the assist category, I don't think. I think we're going to see an improvement in the assist category, but I wouldn't call it a spike. I mean, it might be like a half dime more kind of thing. But I kind of look at FVV like a 16, 4, and 6, anywhere between 1.5 and about 1.8 steals. And he may get up to about 3 balls per game. And again, I do not care about percentages. That's, I take guys like Donovan Clingan. I'll take, I've got some other field goal guys, I believe, coming up here. But I throw caution to the wind with that, man. I'm an FVD guy.
Yeah, and I get it. If with that line, I think you said 16, 4, and 6. I mean, if you get that, then with the team that you're building, I think that makes sense. And I want to talk about DeJounte Murray. Yes, 85th probably will spend the majority of the season recovering from that Achilles injury. Where do you land on Murray? I mean, clearly it seems you're thinking he'll make a decent bounce back once he recovers.
So I'm gonna say something that's like half truthful and half sarcastic. Okay, so so we're in this mock, right? And I'm looking at this team. I'm like, this is pending domination right here. I now am in a position where, because, and again, I'm not mad at anybody, not judging anybody, but, a lot of team structures, Mark, through to this point in the draft, they've got, 2 project players, 1 or 2 project players, 4 project players, right? Guys that really aren't going to help them win this year. And so I've got nothing but guys that are going to kick ass and take names and shred every single week. Right. So I just felt like, and there were a million picks to go. And I love DeJounte Murray. But I just felt like I was in a position where, we can now kind of look out on the horizon a little bit. I don't need DeJounte Murray's goodies this year, but this team I've constructed, bam, whenever I'm able to infuse DeJounte Murray into this thing, right, it's just going to take it to a more nuclear level. So that was the thought process. But I'm a huge DeJounte Murray guy. I don't have his age in front of me, Mark. I bet he's about 26, 27. He's one of these mid-career guys. And I know he's a hard worker. I know the fabric of this dude. So he's not going to be like, he's going to come back from this, right? Klay Thompson did. Kevin Durant did. All kinds of other guys are doing it. And I believe he will fall in that mix.
So it sounds like he's kind of your one for the future a little bit. And basically, I mean, you're almost like a prospect in that sense. I mean, I did something similar with drafting Nikola Jokic at 90.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically did something similar conceptually with DeJounte Murray at 85th, basically letting him marinate there on that IR for a year. And then he just comes in a banging and can help infuse your squad with that talent.
And maybe we don't know when he's going to come back. Like, what if DeJounte, we're here and, he'll be reevaluated in December and then we get good news and then he plays half the year. But Mark, so I think we're going to get half the year, 30% of the year. But if you're DeJounte, well, God bless America. I got to just check up on this take, Mark. It's the Pelicans. All right. Like if it was a normal, they always screw it up. They love shutting down players and kid gloving players. So, I mean, their record's going to be unbelievably bad. It'll be 15-40 or something like that. Maybe at that time, or they're thinking about bringing DeJounte back. I'm talking myself out of DeJounte playing this year. I'm not talking myself out of the pick. I still like the pick, but But like, this is New Orleans. Like, because I love DeJounte. I want him back in his spot. But Mark, this is New Orleans, dude. They're gonna screw this up.
I mean, I'm treating this year as a lost year because not only we have to keep in mind that, yeah, maybe he plays like from January onward. Most fantasy playoffs start in February, late February, early March. So you factor in some ramp up period, factor in if New Orleans sucks, which then, I mean, it's Western Conference and the Pelicans. They probably will not
guarantee. That's a guarantee.
They say sorry. That would be my prediction too. I mean, the one thing you can say is that they don't own their first round pick because of some very silly nonsense trade they made around the draft. So they have no motivation to really tank. But I mean, you still want to handle a player coming off Achilles for the first couple months of action pretty carefully. So yeah, even if he plays, I just don't even know how much utility you're going to be able to get from him this season. And I mean, I'm treating this year as a wash for him, and I'm not expecting any production from him this season. Even if the reports are positive and he's recovering nicely, I will be happy for him to hear that. I'm still not going to expect much.
Totally understood, man. Totally understood.
All right, let's go to round 9 and 10 here with round 9, 108, taking DeAndre Ayton, and then 109, taking Nicholas Claxton at round 10. So basically going back-to-back centers here. And two centers, I think, who have seen their stock pretty varied and change in a downward direction the past year.
And that's why I like them. And you know, you also think, right? I took Ayton. I'll get into it in a minute, but you know, I'm taking Van Vliet and I'm taking Harden and I'm taking Trae Young and all these horrible field goal guys, right? Well, I mean, I got Klingon, I got Ayton, I got Claxton. These guys are tremendous field goal percentage guys. So to me, and that's just natural. I didn't take these guys because of field goal percentage, but that's another one of these things. Like to me, it all just kind of sorts itself out in the wash. Because you're going to take bigs. Bigs have higher field goal percentages. It's hard for anybody to find efficient guards. There's like 3 or 4 guards in the league that shoot a high field goal percentage. Most guards don't shoot a good field goal percentage. So anyway, on to these picks. So the Ayton thing, I have not been, I was a big Ayton guy, Mark, at Arizona with the Suns, loved Ayton. On my mock draft, he was the number 1 pick in that draft, so I'm not banging on anybody for passing on Luka and Trae. Ayton was the pick, and he's a really good player. But the problem is, Mark, he got paid and he checked out, dude. He got big time. He went Hollywood. He got soft. He got lazy. And he's on a team up in Portland that's not winning. He checked out mentally because obviously when he was on Phoenix in the championship fast lane, we got some good years from DeAndre Ayton. But we've never, back to Trevor Lawrence, okay? Unbelievable, can't miss player at Clemson. Mark, I put him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame while at Clemson, okay? That was a mistake by me, but it's not my fault. It's his fault. DeAndre Ayton is a better comp for Trevor Lawrence than Paolo. DeAndre Ayton in Arizona looked like a future Naismith Hall of Famer. And he has not played like that. But here's the thing, Mark. He's a Laker now. Okay. Ayton is on my boot in your ass team. There's 20 guys. Okay. Brandon Ingram, Zion. It's kind of a usual suspects. The guys that never freaking play. They need a boot in their ass. Cat, right? Gets with Tom Thibodeau, a boot in your ass coach. Bam, has the best year of his career. Not a coincidence. And I'm fading the crap out of Cat this year with the coaching change. Fading him, don't want him in any of my leagues. Because it's not gonna have that boot in his ass. Mike Brown ain't putting a boot in his ass. He's not. Mike Brown's not that type of coach. But Ayton now, JJ Redick is a boot in your ass coach. LeBron is a boot in your ass teammate. So I think we're gonna get a revved up DeAndre Ayton, Mark. I think potential 16 and 12. I think what realistically it's probably about a 14 or 15 and 11. I'd like to get the blocks up, Mark, right? We all would. Could we get him to 1.3? My God. Could we get him to 1.3? I mean, the guy lives at like 0.91. He flirts with a block a game. It's gross, as athletic as he is. But you know what? Maybe that revved up Ayton gives us 1.2 blocks this year. So that's the thought process behind Ayton. Do you have a little Laker uniform tickle with DeAndre Ayton?
I mean, if there was going to be any situation in a team that you would think Aiden gets out of that air mattress that because he can apparently buy his mattress up in Portland for a couple months. I don't know if you heard that story. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
Exactly.
if there's any team he's going to actually show effort and show that he's worthy of starting in the NBA, it has to be the situation in this team. I don't want to. It's too early to say this is the last hurrah because he's too NBA size and physical to not get chances after this, and that'd be going way too far. But I mean, this is probably his last chance to show he's worthy of starting. And you have Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves too, who can set him up beautifully. He just needs to put in like even half effort, and that will be enough. So basically, walk into that 16-11, 16-12 stat line. I mean, 2 seasons ago, he was at 17 and 11.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, we're not asking too much more here.
Nope.
And, hopefully maybe the money thing, it's like, hey, like, yeah, you took a buyout and you're making, what is it, 11 million?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Like, yeah, if you want to keep earning contracts, you need to show something this season. And I think he will at least, I don't know if he'll show enough that our team will fully buy into him, but at least enough to still see, a solid 28, 30 minutes a game in the future, which means that dynasty value will be fine going forward. I don't think he's going to be amazing or anything, but it's a decently rock solid center that you maybe feel queasy about just because the effort level, if it's going to maintain, but comfortable enough with that you can trust the production. That's kind of my read on it. I mean, that's why I don't push him. He's like hanging around the top 100 of my range because my dynasty rankings rather, because I just can't, I don't think I can't buy into Aiden full time. I don't want to be at that business full time. But if I need a stopgap or a part time, or all right, I trust him for this year and we'll reevaluate next year, sure, and add DeAndre Aiden to my squad for that.
I mean, Mark, I loved everything you said. I didn't want DeAndre Ayton. He will not be in my pop players article. He lost me the Portland years and really frankly pissed me off. There was one quote he said, I have nothing more to prove in this league. What the duck are you talking about, dude? You're not an all-star. You're not a champion. You've got a million things. Like the narrative and reputation about you right now absolutely sucks. Everybody in the league is...
Wait. He was a max player. Okay. He was a max player.
And I left that out of the checklist because he did do that. But that's why I said he went Hollywood. Because once he got to max, he was like, shit, I'm good, bro. I don't have to do anything else. And you see guys do that. And it's very, very unfortunate when it happens. Brandon Ingram checked the bleep out, bro. Look at the chronology of when he got paid to games played before and games played after. He literally is on easy street right now. I haven't done that study for Zion, but I did it for Ingram, and it was ridiculous. He's literally the poster child for taking the money and running. I cannot stand Brandon Ingram. Do not like his makeup at all. And then Mark, Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton is a high upside flyer. Okay. And he's still a mid-year guy, right? For a dynasty. So last year he sucked. We all know this. Okay. Completely cratered and bottomed out. The 2 previous years flirted with double-doubles and was over 2 blocks per game. Again, I'm obsessed with blocks. And my team is frankly a little light on blocks, but not until I made that pick. I've got Klingon and I've got Claxton. So I should have 2 of the top 5, 6, 7 shot blockers in the game. And I really don't have a lot of other shot blocking. Again, 8 maybe with his 1. It's not a super strong category for me. But if Nick Claxton gets back to, let's forget about last year, the 2 previous years, then I'm loving it. Okay. And you think about who I took him over Jakob Poeltl. And I do like Jakob Poeltl. They both have shutdown concerns, right, with the Nets and with the Raptors. But Poeltl's older, and Poeltl does not have 2 block per game potential. And so I'm kind of betting on the come here, but it's also, Mark, a hunch. Okay, it's just a hunch that last year sucked for the Nets. Everybody kind of checked out mentally, physically, whatever. And so maybe we get Claxton locked back in here and have a good year because he's coming off a bad one. So that's the thought. But it's a hunch, right? I'm not taking Claxton to the bank here, but it's just a hunch that I think he's going to get back to 2 blocks a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll get that high, but I do like the hunch on a little bit of a bounce back. For all the rookies the Nets drafted, they basically added nothing at the center spot. So even if you think Claxton is a shutdown candidate or what have you, they don't have another big man to even put there. I mean, Claxton is a 26, I think he's 26 or approaching 27 years old. Kind of more of this athletics big, which maybe their primes are a little earlier. But still, we see a bounce back from him, which I think is possible with all those playmakers. Yeah, I think that's just... I'm at least waiting another year in Dynasty. I didn't drop him probably maybe as far as others did because I want to wait that one more season and see if we have a little bit of return to form for him.
Yeah, great point. Like if Claxton goes 10-8 with 1.3 blocks this year, he's dead to me, right? He is. I mean, Bob, giving him one more chance here. He has been 70+ games 3 straight years. So the Nets the Nets were so pitifully god awful. It didn't even matter who they played last year. There was no reason to shut their guys down. And so we did get good attendance from Claxton last year.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the same this year. They are tanking by playing their rookies, which I'm all on board for the Nets doing. I think that makes sense for where they're at. But I don't think it's going to impact Claxton too negatively. Just like, honestly, it didn't impact Cameron Johnson too much negatively last season.
Good point, man.
Let's get to these last couple rounds here. Round 11, pick 132, you went with Carlton Bub Carrington, and pick 133, John Collins.
I love me some Bub Carrington, dude. I believe like he's got to be the starting point guard. His first round pick, he played very, very, very well at the end of last year. The PRA was fantastic. I think it was the final month of the season. And really left a good taste in their mouth. CJ McCollum to me is the 2. Will not be the primary ball handler and play initiator. That's Bub. Trae Johnson's more of a 2 than a 1. He can play 1, but I'm having a hard time seeing how Trae Johnson gets playing time. I know he will. And I know that depth charts aren't linear and how it plays out rotationally, but still you got Cam Whitmore, you got Keyshawn George. Do they kick Chris Middleton to the curb? Please, hopefully, for the love of God, they do. But Mitty, love you. But I mean, with this team, it's like it's the worst fit in NBA history. It literally is. But I think Bub has significant PRA potential here for like a really fat PRA line. And he's got 3-ball potential. He's got steal potential. I'm a fan. Are you in for the Bub experience this year, Mark?
I'm somewhat in. I think I'll have that opportunity, as you said and as you laid out. My concern is that he doesn't exactly put a ton of pressure on the rim, and I like his mid-range game, and I don't know if I love it though. So I don't know if he's the long-term answer, but the Wizard should be motivated to see if he is, and he'll have those chances. And he was one of the youngest players in the 24 draft class. So there is normally more of a years in the league versus age person. You know, some people will be like, this player's been in the league for 3 seasons. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but he's been in the league for 3 seasons. I don't care that he's 21, 22. He's already shown us a good amount of stuff already. But that said, he still is young, has room to improve. And maybe he just shows a little bit more dynamism and then can show he's worthy of a few more seasons in this role. John Collins, the new Los Angeles Clippers player, what do you make of that fit there?
I love it, Mark, because they're going to play him. Okay. Thank God John Collins got rescued and or escaped from Utah, and the annual banishment that happens with their top players as Danny Ainge continues the worst tank of all time. It's so maddening what's going on in Utah. I hate the Jazz because of this. When they turn the corner and start trying to win again, I will stop hating the Jazz. I'm cool with like a Philly tank, right? The Dallas tank to get lively. Like remember when Golden State that year where Steph landed on his hand broke, and they just said, all right, we suck. They won 15 games. Next year, they're right back in the Fed. That's how you freaking do it. That's what I think Boston should do this year, Mark. Tank, go 20-62, get a killer draft pick, drop that right into your mix with Tatum. It's just so obvious to me. But they're probably going to go for it, win 37 games, screw up their draft pick, and do all that kind of stuff. But no, John Collins, dude, you know this, Mark. He has a fantastic stat set. All right, we're talking, he flirts with 2010. He won't be a 2010 guy here. Like, I'm looking at like 13, 14 points, 8, 9, 10 boards, couple of dimes. He's a 1-1-1 guy. I love those guys. 1 block, 1 steal, 1 3. I don't know what those exact numbers will be, but he'll be the box score is going to be filled in those categories by him on almost every night. So the Clippers are in go for it mode. The Clippers also have injury prone players. All right, so that may lead to a bit of like like if Kawhi goes down, right? John Collins' numbers are going quite a bit up. So I just like it. And I'm a John Collins guy. I've always liked his stats. I love his bounce. He's a good corner 3-ball maker, which is kind of as a stretch for. It's like a perfect fit. I think he's a great fit for the Clippers. I think it's one of the best adds of the offseason.
I agree with that. I didn't really foresee them doing that move, but when they did, I was like, oh, you know what? They kind of don't have that more old school hefty 4, more of a, I guess, modern day heft 4 and size the 4, which Collins can provide. Provide that rebounding, provide that little extra size. They kind of need this player skill set. And I thought Collins was going to get minimized in his years in Utah, and his skills would kind of fall off as he ages, and then he would be more of a rotation player. I have to eat crow there. He has recovered that 3-ball in terms of the accuracy, at least. The volume's still not great, but it's at least respectable shooting. He's still providing good size and rebounding. And yeah, I think he's going to see a pretty solid role in the Clippers. And probably won't be starting, but he's going to see, I think, at least, that 25, 27 minutes a game, and possibly more depending on the matchups, depending if they need that size. So I'm with you. I think it was a really nice ad and a nice maneuvering by the Clippers there. And I think they have pretty good aspirations there for John Collins.
So just quickly, Mark, before you move on, what was the draft number for John Collins? What was his draft number?
So John Collins was 133. Bub Carrington was 132.
Right. Mark, think about this. 133 for John Collins. That's kind of wild and crazy to me. And I'm not saying he should be top 75 or anything, but top 133rd. I was shocked that he was still available. I was like, I'm stealing now. I got a ski mask on. There's a riot in the city, and I'm just stealing. Like, what is happening here? Obviously, I'm a pretty big John Collins fan.
Honestly, I haven't gotten to round 12 of my write-up yet, but I'm just looking through. John Collins might actually be my favorite pick in this round, I think. It might be.
I'm just saying, man. I was like, mana from heaven. This is cool. My next couple of picks, I don't know. I maybe my attention span started drifting. I don't know. I took Keontae George. I like Keontae George. Dr. A has always been huge on him. But he is a nice player. I like his stat set. He's got a nice steal and 3-ball package theoretically, potentially. And but I just didn't like a lot of the players available. And that was a bit of a dead zone for me. That was a bit of a shoulder shrug for me a little bit. I would have taken Bona. I'm looking at, the guys today. I would have definitely taken Bona. I would have taken Keyshawn George, but they were already gone. So, all right. I took George of Utah.
That was Keontae George at 156. Next, then Russell Westbrook at 167th. The unsigned Russell Westbrook still.
Yeah, so this was a fanboy pick. I'm going to admit it. Now, obviously, I think Russ is going to be in a spot where he could again do the 12 point, 5 rebound, 6 assists, 1.1 steal, 1.2 3-ball thing that he's been kind of doing, right? If Sacramento, can move Malik Monk, I think they're going to move on Westbrook. There should be half the game there for Russ. But this is a bit of a fanboy pick. I got the vets. They needed somebody to holler at, man. I got Bron, I got KD, I got Harden. And so I needed to get some Westbrook with that as well. And again, Mark, we are super, 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 super deep in the draft, right? Guys taken after us, Kalkbrenner, Sohan, Misi, Draymond, Neesmith, Dosunmu, Holland, Toppin, Jovic. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of like, let's have some fun with this one. Let's add Russ to the mix.
Fun can definitely be a factor why you draft a player in Dynasty. I normally I don't always go for fun, but I understand drafting players that you're a fan of, and that's, I think, a perfectly acceptable factor. And then in round 15, pick 180 with Kevin Porter Jr. there.
What's Doc Rivers going to do? Okay, all of us. Well, I shouldn't. I want Kevin Porter Jr. to play 30 minutes as the point guard of the Bucks. I think he deserves that. He's earned that. Based on he's got a 50 ball in his career, and last year when Doc gave him time, I mean, he had some roar like a lion games, big time games late in the year. Okay, he helped me win some championships, Mark. When I had Zion and Ja Morant out, of course, dude, it's one of my great achievements. I literally won chips last year on teams where I had both Zion and Ja, like 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. Absolutely.
That's risky business.
Dude, and I mean, obviously they're both dead to me. Mark, it was a great save by me. It was like you're in the bunker and you get up and down to win the tournament or whatever, right? So I screwed up the draft. Obviously, completely crapped the bed. Ja Morant, and I didn't do this in every league, right? I'm talking about like 2 leagues, like Yahoo leagues. Ja 3rd round, Zion 4th round. I had vibes on these guys coming into last year. Never again. And so obviously it was wash, rinse, repeat with all the bull crap. But I'm not like I suck, I'll get them next year, Mark. I dig in, right? Okay, I just got to hustle up. I got to find guys off waivers. I got to do the streamer game. I'm not going out like that, and I've won those chips. And Kevin Porter Jr. was a big reason why. So but again, it could be Cole Anthony. You got Ryan Rollins lingering. But again, we're super deep. There's no bad picks right now. Still a young guy, big time talent. Obviously, with some issues that he's put behind him, and hopefully they don't resurface here. But that's why I took Kevin Porter Jr. It's a dice roll, Mark. It is a late round dice roll because I don't think Doc Rivers loves Kevin Porter Jr.
I mean, I would probably start Ryan Rollins if I was coaching the Bucks, but that doesn't mean Kevin Porter Jr. won't get his minutes and won't have lead guard opportunities there. You follow that up at 181 with Kelly Oubre Jr. Just a bet. So, hey, Sixers, good minutes, good wing. Sure, take him. You happy with it?
I love me some Kelly Oubre, man. Kelly Oubre and Nick Nurse. Way more importantly, Nick Nurse loves Kelly Oubre. There are teams, there are coaches that Steve Kerr hates Kelly Oubre. Hey, remember that year where Oubre was out in Golden State? Oh, it was one of the worst fits in NBA history. Oh, he was horrible.
Awful. Square peg, round hole.
Oh my God, it was just so dreadful, dude. And then Oubre goes to Charlotte, averaging 20 a game, big nights, blah, splash, viral highlights, all this. I'm an Oubre guy, dude. I love energy guys. He's a decent fantasy gold guy. He's helpful in the steal category. Not a huge 3-baller. He's about 1.5 steals, about 1.5 threes. But again, this deep, I'm looking for about 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And a guy that plays every night. And, Paul George never plays. He hates the game. Joel Embiid never plays. He hates the game. I actually think they're going to tank again, Mark. There is incentive for Philly to tank and get into the bottom 4. So I think this is going to be another tanky season. I am fading Tyrese Maxey as a result. So all of that is baked into that pick.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. And there's a pretty good summary of Kelly Oubre there. All right, last 2 picks here. Round 17, pick 204, you went with Drew Holiday, and a 205 went with Kyle Kuzma. So there's some old heads here who are maybe fading away. But the Drew Holiday I can get. Kyle Kuzma I do get too, just because who else is there on the Bucks who's going to put up stats. But do you feel comfortable with these picks?
I mean, I do. But I'll tell it like this. Okay, in any draft, I'm a huge waiver wire guy. So every draft that I'm ever in, there's going to be several picks that, like the vernacular of you get hired to get fired, right? Like coaches, NBA coach, you get hired to get fired. And so that's what that is. You were picked to get dropped, basically. So let's see, right? That is a first 2-week trial look-see for audition for Drew Holiday and Kyle Kuzma, because the thing with Drew Holiday, and by the way, I'm looking at the guys draft. I mean, AJ Mitchell, Peyton Watson. Come on, man. No. Max Christie, Moses Moody over Drew Holiday? Come on. And I'm not trying to pump up Drew Holiday. He has been a waiver wire guy basically the last 2 years in Boston, especially last year. I dropped him in the Cam Dynasty. He was in my original draft and hung on. I mean, he was amazing in Milwaukee. Got to Boston, the stats absolutely cratered. Last year, pathetic. I actually sent him to waivers. But he is a Blazer. Damian Lillard is not going to play. Chauncey Billups hates Scoot Henderson, okay? And they need a vet. I think they want to win. I have a sneaky feeling, Mark. Again, a hunch. We got to draft on hunches, though. With the 12th pick in round 17. Why not, right? I have a hunch, Mark, that we are going to see a stat spike for Drew Holiday. Not to the Milwaukee level, but somewhere between the Boston level and the Milwaukee level. I could see a 15, 4, and 5. I could see 1.2 steals. I could see 2.1 threes. I could see him getting back to that or not, and then I send him to waivers.
No, I mean, look, if he has had that spike, he would be great value here. And I'm going to go to waivers real quick. I mean, you can see there's plenty of guys on waivers here. This is just sorted by their Fantrax projections, but Karis LeVert, Klay Thompson, maybe not Buddy Hield, but Yabu Sale, Gary Trent, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. There's plenty, Rui Hachimura. There's plenty of guys on waivers here who, Drew Holiday is not producing. You can easily add another guy and still be fine. There's enough interesting guys there. There's enough veteran talent there. And as you said, you can cycle these guys pretty easily at this point. Is that the same idea with Kyle Kuzma here at 2 Baj?
This is a full 100% joke. No, at this point, I was like, is this draft over yet? My God, what is happening here? It's dominating my summer. That was 100% a joke, Mark. No, again, hated everybody else on the board. Didn't hate them, but like just nothing on the board was like, I was like, nah, and Kuzma theoretically could be a decent player in Milwaukee. I was geeked about him going to Milwaukee at the trade deadline last year, and it was an absolute disaster. The low motor from Kyle Kuzma was totally shocking to me. Once he went to Milwaukee, a team purportedly going for it. So I think, and again, it's a hunch, but it's not nearly as strong as the hunch I have on John Collins or the hunch I have on Drew Holiday. It's Mark, it's a half-ass hunch, okay? It's a half-ass hunch that Kyle Kuzma is going to play with more enthusiasm, more motor this year, and get to maybe a 16-7. And we know the fantasy gold's never been real crisp with Kuzma. He's not a defensive stat guy. Sometimes you'll get 2-3 balls, but it's a dice roll, and it's a pick acknowledging within a week or two this will be somebody else off the waiver wire.
Yeah, I mean, even in dynasty leagues where you might think, oh, every pick on my team is going to be locked in. I mean, honestly, probably the last 20% of your dynasty draft, however long it is, those could easily be new players, even within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, those are flyer types. Maybe not flyer types. I mean, you wouldn't think of, if you're in a deep league, 300 plus, I mean, Isaiah Jackson, Darren Holmes, these guys are maybe a little bit more than flyer types. But relative to your league size, of course, the later round of your drafts are players flirting with waiver wire value.
Right.
And it's okay to cycle those players out, even if they're stashes. I mean, I took Jace Richardson, 210. If he shows, the Magic showed no indication of playing him, if he's not showing anything, yeah, he's going to be cycled out for a veteran or some other prospect that shows something. And I'm okay with that. That's what I did the same thing. It was a rookie, not a veteran, but same thing. If they don't show anything, you go into waivers and, Karis LeVert, Royce O'Neal, Buddy Hield, Dylan Brooks, one of y'all, you're going to have your 2-week audition.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Like Kevin Porter Jr., if Doc Rivers, if he's coming off the bench behind Cole Anthony and the minutes are 13, 17, all right, tonight it was a blowout. He played 24. All right, back to a close game. He played 15. That I'm going to cut him, right? Like I want to, it's just a look-see, man. I want to see that he's playing. I need half the game from KPJ to make this work. 20 minutes ain't going to work. I need 24 per game consistently, and it would be a major shocker. And I'm overall a Doc Rivers fan, and everybody loves to hate Doc Rivers. And I'm quick to remind people he's one of 6 dudes with a ring and 1,000 wins. One of 6 dudes all time. I love Doc Rivers. By the way, a super cool guy. But everybody hates Doc Rivers. But I will be salty with Doc Rivers if he does not have 24 minutes a game for KPJ.
All right, you heard that here, Doc Rivers. Better play Kevin Porter Jr. minutes, or else Kamla's going to come after you.
It's all love, Doc. It's all love, man.
All right, let's just give a snapshot of your team here at the end. This isn't going to be in pick order. It's just going to be who's roughly starting. We got James Harden, Fred VanVleet, Trae Young in the guards, Paolo Banchero, Kevin Durant, LeBron James as forwards, Donovan Clayton at center with Ayton, Claxton, and then Carrington, Drew Holiday, Kevin Porter Jr., John Collins, Kyle Kuzma, Kelly Oubre, all kind of filling in there. How do you feel about your squad here? Any closing thoughts?
I mean, I love it. What can I say? I took it seriously. I took all of this stuff seriously. But I really tried to nail the picks and build a team that I would love. And so I think I nailed that. But again, the takeaway for people is I would highly recommend not going young and trying to, as you said, Mark, thread the needle. You got to hit on all your picks, and you're not going to. Okay. And I don't think it's fun to suck and get drilled every week. That sucks. I don't want that experience. And if you go all young, you're going to get drilled every week. And then you're going to be at the top of next year's draft, and you're going to take another hot shot rookie, and you're still like you're just moving farther and farther and farther away from a championship. And to me, fun. And if sucking and building a team that probably isn't going to be worth the darn 5 years from now, you think it is, but it's probably not. If that's fun for you, knock yourself out. Go do that. But if you would like the advice from somebody who's done this a long time, that would be my advice. Build a blended team. Okay. Again, first 2 picks, young or mid. All right. These are your anchors. These are your cornerstones. Okay. In the Cam Dynasty, Mark, my first 2 picks were Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley. Those are my anchors. Okay. And then everything's built around those guys. That's how you start. Then you go old, get the goodies that everybody else is forgetting about because they got to have this wild young rookie. And then from that point on in the draft, dude, all you do is the best blend of stats and age, and you'll just know the right pick at the right time. So that's what I would recommend. And you will win. You will at least compete for a championship if you do it that way.
And I think everyone listening and watching all like to win eventually and like to win early on if preferred. I want to ask you one last question before we end the podcast. And you basically mentioned not just going all young. And maybe I'm asking a clarifying question here. I don't think you're saying you hate rookies or young guys, don't draft them. It's just you'll tend to like the more productive players now at those relative draft slots. Is that a fair way to put it? Or no, you do hate the youth of today?
No,
it's the middle guys.
I definitely don't hate the youth of today. I hate that draft strategy. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you shouldn't throw some dice on Nikola Topic. Right? He's your guy. You've scouted him. You've vetted him.
He's my guy.
He's your guy. Go get your guy. Okay. I'm all for that. And Mark, you made a lot of really sensible picks. You mixed it up. You've got young, you've got old. You're going to be if we were playing this out, you would be one of the competitors in this league. This is how you build it. I don't hate the young guys. I hate the strategy of like this guy in the Cam Dynasty. Okay. He had Wemby, he had Chet, he had a bunch of good players, right? And he already started this young thing. And this year, he traded everybody off. He's going to have like 10 of the top 14 picks in next year's first round. Okay. And Mark, I'm literally thinking about kicking him out of the league and bringing maybe you into the league because you're a dynasty guy. You'd be a perfect fit. He traded Wemby, and he traded Wemby to Andre. How dare you? How dare you trade Wemby and then you trade him to Andre? Are you serious? That's like giving Vladimir Putin more nuclear weapon. Like, no, he doesn't.
If we're going
like, I'm sorry, but yeah. But
but yes, I think I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Andre does not need the assistance. Okay.
Yes.
So I was like, whoa. Wemby just got traded. So this guy, Andre, somehow bundled together 4 first-round picks, which is a near impossibility because we only go 2 years. Mark, we don't go like 3 years out. You can't trade a 2027 in my league. You can trade a 2025 and a 2026. That's it. Okay. So he bundled all those up with LaMelo Ball and went and got him some Wemby. But so that guy's team is going to be god awful. It will never be good. And frankly, there is some interpersonal stuff with this guy too. Frankly, he annoys the hell out of me. But I also really don't like his strategy. And like I said, I'm in a nice mood right now, so he's still in the league. I'm certainly not going to make any moves right now, but next off season, I may have to make a hard decision. I don't know, Mark. I may be hollering at you.
That's just wild to me, though, too. Because if you want to go young, I get it. But then when no young guys hit, if you have a core of Wemby and Chet, and I think you mentioned one other guy, that's kind of your end goal there. Then you're resetting again. It's like you're going to be always you want to live in the realm of 2 years from being 2 years away. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's you've reached your goal if you're going that way.
It's very, very, very illogical to me. It's like it's not counterintuitive. It's illogical. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's
like if you want to trade Shaedon Sharp, who he hadn't traded, you want to trade Buzelis, who I wouldn't have traded, but like Chet and Wemby, bro.
Yeah, those are your pillars. Those are your pillars.
Like you're hurting the league, okay? Because he didn't get appropriate value, and then like the guy, I tried to get Buzelis from him, Mark, and then he changed the valuation of Buzelis all up on me versus what he actually traded Buzelis for. He did. It was Rodeo prices for your boy Cam, and it was Walmart prices for the guy that actually got him. And I'm like, that's what I said, this interpersonal stuff. The guy continues to kind of piss me off too. So if it was just bad draft strategy, well, I wouldn't even go down this road. But the guy like is just kind of chippy and kind of annoying. And so he may be jettisoned. Our names will be mentioned here, but he may be jettisoned.
Whoever you are on watch alert from Kamla here.
Probation.
Well, probation, yes. Probation, yes. All right. Well, I think we will end it there. Kamla, is there anything else you want to shout out? Where can people find you? Where can people find your work?
So excited about the Sports Ethos WNBA today with me. It's a reality WNBA show. We've been doing it all year. It's been decently successful, Andre's telling me. And so we're trying to grow it, excited about it. It's Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And the playoffs start on Sunday. Okay. So this is going to be a big episode, and we'll take you to the end of the year. My NBA show will be firing back up here. I think next month. I haven't looked at the schedule, but soon. We're not like a hiatus because there's no news at all in the NBA, like none. Okay. Eurobasket news is all we're damn getting right now. So we're not doing a show with no news to talk about, but that'll be coming out soon. Fantasy NBA today, me and Dr. A and Aaron Brewski. Next week, we go to all 5 days. We've been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday throughout the offseason. We're getting close, guys. We ramp up to 5 shows a week. So you can check us out. Trying to think here. Monday, we will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern with the Fantasy NBA today, and that will be me and Dr. A. And Mark, I appreciate you having me, man.
I appreciate you coming on and walking us through your draft strategy here. I think it does go against what a lot of dynasty analysts would do, but I don't think it's necessarily like a wrong approach. I think it's a different approach, and one that if you do want to hammer and try to, I don't even want to say try to win early, just try to get productive players and talent in from day one. This is kind of what your draft can look like. So with that, we'll leave it here on the Pun Intended podcast. Kamla, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. See you next time on the Pun Intended podcast presented by FanDuel.